Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back with another news. NVIDIA has released a new firmware fix for GeForce RTX 50 series GPUs having black screen and reboot issues. Now it's not like we are only having this issue with 5060, but we have also seen the same issue with 5090, 5080, 5070, 40 series, 30 series. Hell, in some cases 20 series GPUs were also affected with new drivers. But in here it looks like 5060 and 60 Ti is having issue with certain motherboards rather than the driver related issue. According to NVIDIA, this is caused by incompatibility with certain motherboard system BIOS. The company emphasizes that the firmware update should only be applied by users experiencing the black screen and reboot issue, and if your system is running normally, then this update is not necessary. As you can see here on your screen guys, NVIDIA shared update tool for users who are on UEFI, as the issue may also occur on pre-UEFI motherboards running in legacy or CSM boot modes, and in such cases users are advised to contact the motherboard vendor supporting for guidance. And one more thing, NVIDIA has not clarified who will be held responsible for potential GPU damage during the firmware update process fails, for example due to a power outage. While the update process has been made as simple as possible, it's not something everyone is familiar to use, nor would most of users know this problem exists in the first place. Honestly guys, if you don't see reboot or black screen issue, I would highly suggest to not update the firmware unless needed, and if it is necessary, take safety precautions like connecting your PC to UPS and updating the firmware. So if by any bad luck power outage does happens, the UPS hold your PC for a couple of minutes unless the firmware installs completely. Next up today is we have some rumors regarding the new Intel ARC B770 that is rumored to release in the fourth quarter of this year. Before Computex, Intel's marketing sparked some confusion by hinting that they might announce the higher end battle-mage GPUs like the A770 or A780. Some Intel employees even replied to users who were adding these models to their Computex wish lists. However, when the event came, no new battle-mage GPUs for gamers were unveiled. Instead, the Intel introduced new ARC Pro series cards. Although the B770 wasn't launched at a Computex, reports from several media sources suggest it's still in work. Tweaker, who talked to multiple Intel insiders during the event, confirmed that the ARC B770 is indeed real and expected to release later this year, likely in fourth quarter. If this is true, then the schedule stays on track. The B770 will be launched almost a year after B580, and this is what Tweaker has to say, quote unquote. Intel is working on ARC B770 video card based on battle-mage architecture. Tweakers were able to confirm this with multiple sources during Computex. Sources close to Intel confirmed the existence of ARC B770 video card. According to them, the introduction is planned for the second half of this year. The card is expected to appear in the fourth quarter, although the planning can of course still change. Now, these sources didn't provide any detail about the card specification and were uncertain if the B770 would be better than the B580, though logically it should be. There had been going on rumor that the B770 would feature the BGM G31 GPU. We may see and hear more rumors about the card in the coming time, and it looks like Intel is still investing itself in the battle-mage lineup. And $1 million question is whether the B770 makes any real impact, knowing that the computers are offering even good performance GPUs. So after NVIDIA, it looks like AMD is defending the 8GB variant of GPU, as well as AMD launched the RX 9060 XT in 8GB variant. Says majority of gamers have no use of more VRAM. The statement is only true if you are playing on 1080p monitor and not on 4K resolution, then yes, that much of VRAM is not needed. But again, in some games the texture needs more VRAM even in 1080p resolution. But one key thing to understand here is simple, that if GPU is not that strong enough to run title on 4K and generate 60 stable frames, then it does not matter even if it has 16GB of memory, you won't get any benefits of 16GB of memory. To put it simple, yes, it may benefit for content and other loads, but not chip hungry games. Again, new titles demand more VRAM along with strong chip in equation. AMD's new Radeon RX 9060 XT comes in two variants, 8GB and 16GB, with the price tag of $299 and $349 respectively. But AMD is facing criticism for using the confusing naming scheme, practicing just like NVIDIA. Consumers consider the 9060 non-XT as 8GB and XT with 16GB, so it's understand why AMD is facing criticism. Frank Hazer, the chief architecture of gaming solutions, defends the decision by pointing out that majority of games are still playing at 1080p and have no use more than 8GB of memory. Most played games WW are mostly esport games. We wouldn't build it if there wasn't a market for it. If 8GB isn't right for you, then there is 16GB of variant. Same GPU, no compromises, just memory option. As I said earlier, he adds that AMD wouldn't produce such cards if there wasn't a clear market for it. While that might be a reasonable defense, reviewers remain unconvinced, particularly as memory demands for modern games continue to rise. The main concern isn't just the memory size, it's the inconsistent naming that misleads consumers. As I said earlier, consumers consider the 9060 non-XT variant as 8GB and XT with 16GB memory, but the same naming scheme is misleading. That I agree with consumers. At least AMD has priced their cards lower and did not restrict the PCIe 5.0 interface to 8 lanes, a mistake that NVIDIA did with its 5060 Ti that performs lower under certain conditions when tested. So we have to wait till June the 5th and see the reviews for ourselves if the 8GB and 16GB make any difference in real world performance in 1080p and in 1440p. Next up today is we have some news from NVIDIA side. So after all this tariff war against China and companies, it looks like NVIDIA is making something out of Blackwell chip that would ship to China this year and can earn them up to $10 billion. And these Blackwell chips will be priced at $6,500 up to $8,000. NVIDIA is set to launch its next chip for China AI market in the upcoming months, and these Blackwell chips for China will cost half of the H20 AI accelerator because it won't feature HBM memory or TSMC's chip on wafer on substrate technology. Team Green needs to act swiftly in China as competitors from companies like Huawei is intensifying, and on top of that, the changing geopolitical landscape makes it unclear how the Trump administration might respond next. A recent Reuters report suggests that NVIDIA's upcoming Blackwell chip could be priced at half of the H20 AI accelerator, with the primary goal being to reclaim market share from Huawei. The chip is expected to begin production next month and should be available in Chinese AI market by July. NVIDIA's lower priced Blackwell chip will have reduced specs including the GDDR7 memory instead of HBM to comply with US chip policies. It will also skip TSMC's COWS technology, chip on wafer on substrate, resulting in much lower performance compared to mainstream solution, and this could widen the gap between Chinese and Western AI performance. NVIDIA's revenue in China has plummeted due to Biden's administration restrictions earlier. While the H20 AI accelerator isn't the only product impacted, sales of AI GPUs like H100 and A100 have also been declined. CEO Jensen sees China as a $50 billion opportunity, but US restrictions have cut their market share in half, putting them at the risk of being replaced, especially by companies like Huawei. The affordable Blackwell AI chip is expected to sell over 1 million units by year end, but it won't be the top performer as Huawei Ascend 910C outperforms it. However, NVIDIA plans to use its CUDA software ecosystem to maintain an edge in the market. So if you are one of PS Vita lover, I have some great news for you guys, as Sony's upcoming PS Vita successor is under discussion, might feature AMD and Samsung partnership combo as news reports, and it looks like Sony did not want to left behind in the handheld segment and want to step up their game. And it looks like company is rumored to be working on an in-house chip project to power their next handheld portable device, and in the upcoming handheld rumored to be powered by custom AMD chip that features Samsung's 2nm node. Sony is expanding beyond consoles with PlayStation Portal showing interest in the portable device market. Leaker Jukan Losrev claims that Sony next portable device could feature an AMD developed Samsung made Jupyter chip using Samsung's SF2P node with mass production targeted for 2028. I think after PlayStation 6 launch. He also said that the deal hasn't been finalized yet. It's still under review between Sony, Samsung and AMD. Now guys, this rumor should be taken with caution as Sony has previously cancelled several rumors projects. The PlayStation handheld is said to be a mini PS5 but won't run PS5 games natively, similarly to Nintendo's approach with scaled down titles. If true, it could be the successor to the PS Vita released 13 years ago. The custom SoC approach makes sense for Sony as it can optimize performance and efficiency. Partnering with AMD, known for its powerful handheld APUs, aligns well with the Sony's history with the PS5, while Samsung's 2nm processor is still uncertain. It's a real possibility. Sony is planning a portable device with a formal launch expected by 2028. So AMD Computex 2025 was held, and here we have some key moments and important notes to take, and one such key note is AMD's FSR Redstone for RDNA 4 neural radiance caching, machine learning regeneration and frame generation, and sadly there is no talk about RDNA 3 or 2 support. At Computex, AMD has presented an evolution of its Fidelity FX Super Resolution FSR technology, FSR 4, which debuted alongside the Radeon RX 9070 series, was just a chapter, and AMD is now looking to leverage the machine learning and other technologies to deliver an even better experience for gamers. The next step is FSR Redstone as a new version of Super Resolution and Frame Generation. This version will focus on 3 key features: neural radiance caching, machine learning accelerated ray regeneration, and machine learning accelerated frame generation. Now, neural radiance caching is designed to predict where indirect lightning will bounce in the scene, reducing the need for full path ray tracing. Ray regeneration is similar to what NVIDIA offers with DLSS 3.5, an AI algorithm that reduces the complexity required for ray traced scenes. The scene is then upscaled using super resolution and followed by frame generation. Unfortunately, AMD made it clear that FSR Redstone is intended for RDNA 4 GPUs only. In Jack One's own word, FSR Redstone will be a game changer for RDNA 4 users, with no mention of support for other architectures. FSR Redstone is officially scheduled to launch in the second half of this year. AMD has not provided specific dates, likely because the technology is still in development and they want to ensure it is as polished as possible before launch. Notably absent at Computex were any announcement from AMD about bringing FSR 4 to pre-RDNA 4 GPUs. AMD did however confirm that by June 5, 60 games should support FSR 4. AMD also introduced its Pro Series Radeon AI Pro R9700 with 32GB VRAM and Navi 48 GPU. This is AMD's brand new AI Pro R9700 Pro that features 32GB memory for professional workload, that is based on RDNA 4 architecture that announced at AMD Computex 2025, and this AMD GPU has a new product named Radeon AI Pro that signals AMD's shift towards AI focused customers. The main feature is 32GB memory capacity. The AI Pro R9700, which it looks like borrowed its name from older Radeon model, is blower style GPU with a single fan. This design is for multiple GPU server deployment, and AMD has shown in this pic using 4 R9700 cards installed in a single server system, as we can see in this pic clearly. AMD Radeon AI Pro R9700 features the Navi 48 GPU, offering lower specs compared to its gaming counterpart. It has a reduced core count of 4096 versus 4480 and simplifies that memory configuration to a single 32GB option, likely with a 256-bit bus memory. Although the exact details hasn't been confirmed, the card has a total of 300 watt total board power and uses a dual 8-pin power connector setup. For display output, the Radeon Pro R9700 includes 4 DisplayPort connectors, most likely supporting the 2.1 standard. AMD claims the card provides 96 teraflops of FP16 performance and 1531 TOPS for the AI workload. Notably, the R9700 delivers a 2 times performance improvement in large language model tasks such as the DeepSeek R1 𝗧𝗘𝗖𝗪𝗞𝗜𝗘 billion when compared to its predecessors, the W7800, and also looks significantly better than RTX 5080 16GB, as we can see here in this picture. Well, that's it for today guys, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.